Hey, I'm Chris Parsons from Commerce Rewired. We're live. If you cannot tell in the background, it's probably pretty loud. So I'm going to speak up on this podcast. eTail Toronto. I'm here with Vivian from Willet. I'm so excited to be here with you. I think I've sent you like 400 messages on LinkedIn. So thank you for stopping by and taking the opportunity to be with us. Would you like to introduce yourself to the world right now?
So my name is Vivian McCormick. I am the co-founder and CEO of Willet, which is a Canadian premium linen home essentials brand.
Yeah. So I just in the process of moving into my new.
Oh yeah,
I've been finding it so hard to sleep. I think I'm going through menopause.
yeah.
And this is a real thing. I am definitely warm at night.
Yes.
Within the industry right now, I see a big trend towards like really advertising the cooling aspect of different types of sheets and
Absolutely.
so forth. Want to start there?
I can definitely start there. So, that is sadly why we started the brand. So my co-founder a number of years ago, a sleeper, has to have the window open every night, 17-degree room. My nightmare. But for her, that was really essential. My husband's the same, like super hot sleeper, wakes up sweaty. And so linen is the most breathable option you can get. And it's there's obviously bedding you can get in. It feels cool to start with, but linen is breathable all night, temperature regulating. So what I find that's great is that the hot sleepers are not sweating. And the cold sleepers like me, it's just cozy, warm. It doesn't get overheated at night. Just that breathability.
It's good to know because I wake up and I'm like, I'll have the house at 17, and then now I'm down to a sheet
Yeah.
because I am like so hot.
Well, and the other thing about linen is that it's actually quite moisture absorbent. So it can absorb like 20%, of like moisture before it actually feels wet. So say you are sleeping and you are a little bit sweaty at night, you don't wake up with a wet pillowcase and you have to like work in the middle of the night. So it's what's happening with sleeping in linen is that there's less disruption and just a better sleep, right? If you track your score with any banner of a device, you can see like you're achieving more consistent sleep because you're not waking up all the time.
Amazing. Amazing.
You got to try it out.
I'm going to try and get so I'll order some this week. I will make all the difference on my king bed with Willet. But tell us the beginning.
Well, it started back in 28. As I mentioned, it's one of those things where somebody comes along and says, I need this thing, how most entrepreneurs start.
Yeah.
I need this thing. I can't find it. And that was my co-founder. And so she was looking for linen bedding after having just purchased a new bed. It was her first like significant online purchase. It was a mattress. And so she says, why can't I find this online? And at the time, back in 2018, linen bedding was a little bit more elusive in Canada. And if you were going to buy it, you would be paying, duties, shipping, possibly foreign exchange. So the unpredictability of a cost at a premium price was just not ideal for her. So we looked into it more and realized, yeah, there are a couple linen bedding options, but they're typically like the large big box stores, the Pottery Barns of the world. And there wasn't really I think there was a great opportunity for Canadians to be able to bring them premium linen bedding products. So that was how it started.
Great. I love when I hear entrepreneur stories, and I find it's funny. I was having a conversation with a friend. I find that most young businesses are starting out west. Actually, I don't know if it's a trend that you're noticing, but a lot of entrepreneurs are coming out of the BC market, which is fun to see. Where are your origins?
So we did, start out at BC, started right in Vancouver. And I noticed that too. We have an incredible entrepreneur landscape out in Vancouver. A lot of product based, a lot of food. So I tend to see maybe more software coming out of the east and more product coming out of the west. I feel like it's a little bit of our West Coast, like laid back, wellness, outdoorsy personality. Generally, I'm not that outdoorsy, but I think it's a bit of that. Is that people are using things and realizing, saying, I need this, let's create it. And I do think, this market out east, there's a lot of great corporate head offices. I think maybe less people are willing to like take that jump in entrepreneurship, and they want to kind of be in the larger corporate environment. I don't know.
I don't know the reason too. I got to do some thesis to figure that out. Interesting how many great companies are coming out of BC right now. So we'll add that to your list. When you decide to give up your own personal time, work is busy, obviously, and invest in an event like eTail? What attracts you to an event such as this?
It's been a really interesting 8 years, and we were just acquired by Kiwi Home, which is another national bedding retailer here in Canada. And it's a great opportunity for us now to get back out and start talking to folks. And I'm really interested here in how people are doing omnichannel well. I'm really interested in how they're utilizing AI coming from a premium product market. How do you do that in a way that doesn't dilute brand? It's those primarily the things that I'm really watching for this movie.
Right. Talking about AI, I've just released this morning this press release that just went out. The AI moment of discovery. It's a white paper on AI. So check that out today. It's AIMAZ.ca. Yeah. This I love it. Like this industry, it's such a great industry, but when we come to a lot of events, feedback all the time is that there was no nuggets to take away. So I want to create a white paper for this event specifically at eTail so that way people can come here, hear about the AI moment of discovery and have a good takeaway, a playbook to go back and think about. So that was one of the reasons I did it. Last year, I was fortunate enough to release my book at eTail Toronto as well, Retail Rewired. I have an affinity and a love for this organization.
No, it's great. And it just seems like the room is very engaged and some really interesting folks here.
Yeah, there's some of the greats in the industry. Louis this morning
Oh
was
my God.
speaking,
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
inspiring. And then it's just there's so many. You can list them all. We've been here all afternoon. But I think right now what I would like to do is just what's the one thing that you would like to take away other than the AI, because that's everybody's topic. But is there something about you said omnichannel, or is it a personalization? And maybe if it is omnichannel, what about omnichannel do you think is really who's doing it right? What's missing? What are your thoughts on omnichannel?
I think omnichannel is such an amazing opportunity, but also such a risk factor, frankly, for a lot of brands to not do well, and then you can lose the customer. I think where I'm trying to ensure that we're headed is the least amount of friction possible. Post acquisition, we have an opportunity to distribute and sell Willet product through select QE home stores starting in the West this year. And that is a, incredible opportunity. People are coming into the home stores and asking for linen right away. So like that discovery is done. And yet they're not finding what they want. So we're bringing that to them. But what I see, this might be the lawyer background in me, is all the risk, right? So what I see is how do we make sure that they don't come in and get this experience in store, but we haven't thought about how it tracks to online. We haven't thought about how it tracks to customer experience. And so, yeah, I'm trying to battle the build it all, perfectly versus just get going and see what happens. So yeah, for us, it's really just how to as an emerging brand, how to go into omnichannel right the first time, recognizing there's going to be iterations, but just really thinking through how we take away some of the friction points and customer flow experience.
Yeah, there's always a challenge where you're trying to launch an MVP of something, but make sure that MVP is not an MVP to a customer because they never know that's your entry point. And they're like, crap, is that your best loyalty program or personalization effort that you're putting forward? They don't know in 6 months that you're coming up with an update or continuation of that
Right.
project. So I always try to say MVPs can be internally, externally, we have to have it as good as it can be.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about being primarily digital that will shift now because we will have some in-store presence. Primarily digital, you can kind of switch it up on the fly, and the person who has never discovered you before, this is what they see versus what they saw yesterday. And now it's going to change a little bit. So that's the other piece that, is keeping me up at night, but I think it's a great opportunity, but also a risk.
Yeah, I think it just forces you to be a better communicator with your customers. Let them know up front, like this is where we're at, or maybe even years goal to put out your roadmap to
People
customers.
too, especially with smaller emerging brands, people want you to build in public. And that's something as a millennial, it's something that's a little bit hard to do and admit that you've got to change some things. But that's the other part that we're trying to get comfortable with is really meeting the customer. We're human too. We're really trying to work on how to improve this experience for you also.
Possible. Thank you for being with us. How do people find you?
Well, we are on Instagram as Match Shop Willet. You can find us at shopwillet.com. And I'm on LinkedIn. So you can find me there as well, Vivian McCormick. I love meeting our customers and I love meeting B2B folks. We're really trying to work on that market of vacation rentals and other wholesale opportunities as well. So
Right. I'll put all the links below in the comments and description. And, thank you so much for today.